All right, welcome back to Conversation Convo Combos, and yeah, what was a topic you want to talk about?
Um, I would say we talked about it before. Impactful moments, moments that were impactful on your life, impactful movies, books, and stuff. But this time, my question is going to be a little bit different on that aspect. It's impactful moments that changed your life. I mean, not like, oh, this friend got me like dinner or paid for my meal. Like, I'm talking moments that were impactful that altered your life or potentially changed it, good or bad.
Hmm.
And let me reword anybody, friends, family, uh, coworkers, whatever, something that has impacted your life or things that have impacted your life that totally it didn't if it didn't happen, what, like, good or bad.
Hmm. Good question. Um, I would definitely have to say good. Um, Me getting my license, me getting my driver's license. I feel like
Yeah.
that was definitely impactful because I don't know if I was the first one out of the whole group to get my license, but I know for me it was a huge deal because I've been striving so hard to get it, and there was like a lot of trials and tribulations, especially when it came down to getting the computer questions correct. I went, I went like 4 times. That shit was that shit was not fun. But the fourth time I went by my damn self because I scheduled the time or the appointment, and then my dad he was working, so I walked all the way. Well, I mean by foot. It wasn't too much of a troop, but I walked from my house all the way to South Willow, and I went in there. You know, I already had a good idea of what the questions were going to require me. This is my fourth time, so shit. But I always had a hard time doing tests and stuff like that. But yeah, when I went in there, was able to pretty much bang them out and stuff like that, and got that all pretty much taken care of. Then after I completed the computer test, scheduled the
Driving.
driving test, and then I used my dad's vehicle to take the driving test. And man, oh man, I was a little nervous, but oddly enough, I feel like I operated better underneath pressure, which I didn't know about myself right then and there at that time. And then the one thing that I always had a problem was like backing up into a parking space with every time when I was with my dad practicing that. Never had a good time like backing up. I was always like crooked in the lines and stuff like that. But with the driving instructor perfectly into the lines and stuff like that, and he's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, no, you did good. He's like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and drive back to the uh, DMV. And I had an old guy, so I feel like he was just pretty much trying to get it done and stuff. Pulled up into the parking lot of the DMV, and then he's writing some stuff down, whatever like that. I'm like, so did I pass? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, you tell me what you think, and then gave me the paper, and he walked out. And I was like, okay. And then I looked at it, and then check
Yeah.
mark said pass, and I was just like, I was like in disbelief, and I actually cried because it was like tears of joy, and I was like, oh my god. And my boss was just like holding me. He's like, I know. You've been working like really hard trying to get this done. And I was just like, oh my god. Finally, then I went over to Ray's, and then I had like obviously the paper copy, whatever like that. They're gonna send the real copy in the mail, and I think it was just like so much like tension and like focus that it like physically and mentally drained me that I like literally just took a nap at race. I just like
Yeah.
knocked out. I was
Was
just like,
I?
I did what I need to do. I took a picture of my license and I posted it on Facebook. I obviously scratched out my
Information.
information, but I was just like, finally. And then Derek and he just was like, oh my god, finally, like you finally got your license. I was just like, yeah, I know, but yeah.
Was I in North Carolina or was I?
I think you were working. Yeah, I think you were working at
Yeah.
McDank's,
Oh, yep.
and then I think like you finally came back to Ray's, and then you were like, oh shit. And I was just like, yeah, I finally got it done.
Because I think you got it first, and then I got it second. But I mean, it's no one else in the group got one anyway. Got it anyway. So.
Yeah.
But I mean, um, yeah, I'd definitely take. That'd be a cake topper.
Yeah.
Getting your license because it's your means of transportation for business, for school, for whatever you're doing in life. I mean, that's your.
I mean, ID is the ID, but like getting your license is like
Huge.
you can
take
drive a
bigger-
motor vehicle, like
you can take
like
bigger jobs.
no more trooping it and walking around. Like you can actually like physically
drive.
like drive and
Pick
stuff
up
like that.
hours, pick up people, offer rides,
Mhm.
like, and you can pick up groceries or
Yeah, the possibilities was astronomical. So it was just like finally being able to have that piece of plastic. It was just like damn
yeah,
sense of like relief and joy, and it was just like all those emotions. I was like, dude, I need to go to bed. I need to take a
It's
nap.
lot to
Like
take
after,
in.
and I think I did. I did take I took some pre-workout or whatever like that to get the energy and get the focus in there because I was just like I need to be like energized. I need to be focused. Like I'm trying to get in there and like get it done and be about myself. I didn't take so much to the point that like I'll be like very jittery and like all over the place and moving too fast. But
Yeah,
there was one comment that he said. He was just like I was like, if there's anything I gotta say, it's when you're gonna be changing lanes and stuff like that, just double check your mirrors.
yeah,
And it's like, other than that, like, yeah, no, I'm like, you did good, and I was just like, no, thank you, and I didn't know if good meant like good on his part, but not good enough to pass, or what I'm saying. So that's why I asked him.
yeah. I
Well,
feel like a lot of that too plays into the anxiety of some people and why they fail. It's because they kind of like the driver instructor instructs you. They're an instructor for a reason. They instruct you on what to do to perform better, and a lot of people will take that as just strictly criticism, and it's like then they start thinking like, okay, well, if he's thinking that, he's looking for something to be wrong. So, and it's like, again, you go looking for something, you're gonna find it. So if you're looking for this instructor to be against you, or looking for, hey, I might fail this, you probably will.
yeah,
9 times out of 10, if you say I'll probably fail this because this guy's already like pointed out something I did wrong, then yeah, you're probably gonna fail it. But if you say, okay, he told me like check my mirrors, so let me periodically check my mirrors and make sure, and like keep both hands on the wheel, and like you're super tense and tight and you're like driving
stiff.
and
Yeah,
then they start to notice that and they're like, okay, like
he's not ready.
just chill out, like, yeah. Or they go to start writing and you're like, oh, and then you're looking over at them and they're like, keep your eyes on the road.
Yeah, focus on the road and stuff like that. I mean, like once you get your license, you're pretty much like you're
Yeah.
able to drive whatever way you want.
Well,
It's just like that first
anxiety gets
initiative.
a little bit relieved.
Yeah.
But I know when I went in and took the written test, I passed it with flying colors. Like first try, I got 3 wrong, and you're
Oh, wow.
allowed like 6, I believe.
I think it's like 6 or 5.
Yeah. But I passed it pretty much first try. I passed it in New Hampshire first try. Didn't get my license. passed it in North Carolina because I had to, because I got a ticket and a suspended license because of I didn't pick it up, apparently, even though they were supposed to send it in the mail.
Yeah.
Long story short, we already talked about that too in
Yep.
the police podcasts and other stuff. But yeah, then I passed it again in North Carolina, and then I passed it again in New Hampshire. So pretty accustomed to the
I was about to say, yeah, pretty accustomed
road
to
test.
road
I
tests.
still kind of will get the distance in wrong on how far you got to be from like a fire truck or a fire
Oh, well,
hydrant.
yeah, sorry, computer test,
But
not
that's-
road test.
That's
Yeah.
very deep. I feel they're very detailed with how far do you have to be from a fire hydrant?
Yeah, because they trick up the words. They do like certain type of wording, and it's just like, bro.
Well, and it's like, come on, let's be honest. Like, if you're driving, like doing the road test, you're obviously there's going to be lines. They would have to mark it. If they don't mark it, then you report it to the city and say, hey, there's this fire hydrant here, and there's no like indication or signs on, hey, you can't park from here to the fire hydrant
yeah.
or whatever. And then they usually would send someone out to fix that.
To post it up. Yep.
But even then, all you gotta do is just look and be like, can a fire truck fit between me and the person who sparked the other distance from the fire hydrant?
Yeah.
Because that's really all it is can a fire truck pull up in there and get close to it without hitting you or being blocked in.
Yeah.
Same with mailboxes. Mail truck's got to be able to get to the mailbox, so you got to be a good distance away so the mail truck can pull up with ease. Otherwise, one, they won't deliver the mail, and two, they might call somebody on you, and then next thing you know, you got a ticket.
Yeah.
But all right. Did you have another one, or you want me to go? It's up to you.
For bad experience, that was pretty spot on for me. I definitely want to say
I mean, it don't gotta be traumatic, but something that like bad that happened that kind of
like realization.
Realization that maybe made you be like, oh, I need to change up how I'm doing things or change up how I did that to improve on or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I mean, technically that would be life changing because you learned it and fixed it.
Yeah. Feel like I don't know. I mean, I feel like it was like a kind of mixture of things. I feel like it was like when you're going through like breakups and stuff like that, or I would say like when you're looking in like the mirror, when like you're like, damn, when you're like in that moment where like you kind of like contemplating like suicide and stuff like that.
Self-assessment.
Yeah, self-assessment and stuff like that, and
depression.
depression and stuff like that. I feel like that's like definitely thing that you kind of like look at, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you look upon like after you go through a breakup and you kind of try to figure out ways that like what you could have done better and stuff like that, you know. Obviously you got your peeps and stuff like that kind of like tell you like, yeah, you kind of did this and stuff like that, but like, you know what I'm saying, like you can still change. I think after going through that, you know,
Like
learning,
working on yourself for future relationships.
yeah, for future
outcomes.
relationships, and also understanding your quirks and certain things that like, you know, that were your weaknesses and things that, you know, that you definitely need to fix upon yourself so that way you kind of like, you know, like benefit not just another person that you're going to meet down the road, but also yourself.
You know, one way I've discovered that you'll really know that you're compatible with a person. One, go camping.
Ah,
And I'm not saying in an RV. I'm not saying
like in a tent.
I'm not saying go camping with his family or go camping with her family. Go camping in a tent, just you and the other person. and you guys will have to put the tent up together. You guys will have to build the campfire together. You guys will have to get food going together. You guys will have to get, the bed set up. You guys will have to get in bed.
Survival instincts and stuff. Yeah.
You guys will have to, sleep in the rough, wake up. Maybe you both got back pain the next morning, but you got to go collect wood because you need to have more wood for the next night because you've already exhausted what you have, because wood goes fast when you're camping.
Yeah.
It's different when you're living somewhere and it's like, oh, we'll start burning it a little bit later. You might wake up and it might be a little bit nipply in the morning. So you got to use some of the wood in the morning. And then later on in the night, it starts getting cold, you put a campfire on again.
Yeah.
And then you got, little quirks that you'll find out about each other, like, oh, she doesn't like to go and, touch wood because she's worried about sap and she's worried about bugs.
Or she's not a morning person. Or he's not a morning person.
Or, oh, he doesn't like the cold, so he's like, I'm going to go and lay in the tent in my sleeping bag and watch YouTube. And it's like, this dude can't stand cold and just chalks it up and goes in the tent and doesn't start a fire to keep me warm or provide for me.
Yeah.
So maybe I need to talk to him and figure out hey, what's going on? Is it just you just don't like the cold? So then maybe it's okay, so if we ever think about becoming something serious and moving together, you thinking about moving south? Is that an idea? Move somewhere that's warmer? Or,
yeah, kind of just understanding each other on a more genuine
you
level.
Don't like the cold. Yeah, exactly. You get a more genuine feel. Or, hey, you don't we were arguing about setting up the tents. Are you not really an outdoor person, or are you an outdoor person? And maybe I'm just not understanding what you're trying to have me do.
Yeah.
Definitely a relationship builder. Also, road trips. Not road trips from 3 hours. I'm talking road trips. 7 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, 20 hours road trips. Because you're in the car with this person and one's got to either read directions or control the music or whatever. Or, hey, we're going to stop, go to the bathroom, come back out. And maybe that person is go, go, go. Hey, we're stopping here. You need to use the bathroom. I'm going to go in and use the bathroom. If you got to go, let's go.
Yeah.
Goes in. Hey, I bought these chips in this candy bar. These candy bars. If you want to eat them, go ahead. And then we're going to keep going.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, I really wish we stopped and went to the bathroom, but maybe we could have picked up a salad or maybe a sandwich.
Yeah, something a little
cold cut or something a little more
hearty.
Yeah. Or something more filling. Hearty. Yeah. But so you'll learn each other's quirks, or another third and final one is living together. I mean, a lot of people say that's an investment. That's really serious if you're moving in together.
Oh shit.
That. What more way to make that step and be hey, we've been living together for 2-3 years. Let's get engaged. That's how you're gonna get into that step of okay, we're gonna move in together. And I'll discover if you leave the toilet seat up, and he'll discover if you put your dishes in the sink without rinsing them.
Yeah.
Or I'll discover that he doesn't like to do laundry, or she doesn't like to do laundry, vice versa, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll learn each other's quirks, and then once you learn that, you can decide, okay, I'm going to work with them and talk with them and try and establish a common ground. Or you can try and do that, and maybe he, she, whoever doesn't work out, and it's I tried getting a common ground with the person. It's just not. It seems to not be clicking. It's not being
initiated or anything.
So, and that's the time to be hey, we've lived together this long. I can't get. I want you to do this, but I've said it several times. I've talked to you about it and said it's a pet peeve of mine, and I can't stand, the laundry being just thrown in the dryer and left there for days on end and having to constantly go in the dryer to grab clothes for the next day. Like, I need these folded.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I can't stand having to, put the toilet seat down and then wipe the toilet seat down and, scrub it because I'm constantly, having to clean up behind you or whatever because you're leaving it not just a little bit of pee on the seat, but it's really nasty.
Yeah.
I mean, or whatever. But it's definitely ways you could learn that. And, I mean, I think people don't realize that when you make those investments and stuff, it can be depressing and put you in that mindset of your mental health not being in the state it is in. Okay, I guess one good thing for me is I'd have to say two people I can give this title or whatever you want to call it to is my former boss, Rob, who used to be the head custodian at the other school I worked at up north, as well as before him, the guy Barry from North Carolina.
Oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
we
yeah.
went to go see. Both of them gave me vehicle knowledge or car knowledge on how to do stuff like how to change spark plugs, how to change tie rods on them, and then how to change brakes, how to change filters, stuff like that. And then slowly but surely I've YouTubed and advanced out watching people how they do it.
Yeah.
Models and how they have, cousins and stuff like that you can use their parts or watch their cousins' videos and it'll relatively match up with your vehicle.
Nowadays you can learn just about anything off of YouTube, so.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I definitely commend them for teaching me that stuff because I've benefited from it really bad and it's impacted me not only from a standpoint of self-efficiency because that's like the golden key right now in life is self-efficient, but also financially not having to pay anywhere from $50 and up to like $100 and something for a simple oil change or a tune-up. I mean, it's like I could do my own tune-up now, but not that I'm a mechanic, but I know the basic knowledge to do the basic things, which is knowing the basics is the most important.
Yes.
Because you can't do the big stuff without knowing the basics.
You do not go to the second grade if you do not pass the first grade.
Or kindergarten. But, and then a bad, I would have to say... For me, something that impacted my life that I needed to learn was probably, I don't want to necessarily piggyback off of you, I'm kind of spinning it a little bit, is my mental health. Definitely mental health is... I think everybody eventually will get to that point or have that point in their life where they're like, my mental health is not what it needs to be. I need to, work on myself, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks that's stereotypical, but it's really not. I mean, eventually everybody will have to work on their mental health at some point.
Yeah, because sooner or later it does
dwindle down.
Yeah.
And gets to that breaking point where you snap. And I definitely went through a lot of relationships, a lot of past trauma, and I was constantly depressed. I mean, calling friends, messaging friends, talking very dark stuff, and just also being a people pleaser all the time. And then I came to the realization that, one, obvious, you can't please everyone.
Yeah.
And two, having to take care of myself first. Otherwise, I can't take care of others. Because if I don't take care of myself, I can't take care of my wife. I can't take care of myself. If I don't take care of my wife and myself, we can't take care of our kids. And then it just keeps trickling down. If we don't take care of ourselves and then our kids, then our kids can't grow and nurture and become what they need to be to help grow the future.
Self-sufficient.
So it all trickles down. And I feel like I've learned that I need to take care of myself and then also, establish a common ground and be like, hey, like, this is my expectations. I've always been very forward with how I feel and stuff, but I feel like I'm even more open now where it's like, this is how I feel. This is, what I believe, and if you don't like it, then that's fine. I don't blame you because you have your own opinions, you have your own views. Everybody does.
Yeah.
But just like you're not losing sleep, I'm not losing sleep. Just because you're upset doesn't mean I'm upset.
Yeah.
Everybody has different feelings. Everybody has different vibes and different everything, and that's what makes us unique. And I think we're too busy trying to be the same, trying to be equal in equality, and the same. You're a loaf of white bread, and everybody's got to be a loaf of white bread. No, there's wheat bread, there's multi-grain bread, there's white bread, there's honey wheat bread.
I think that's the funny thing that everybody tries to be something that they're not, or everybody tries to be something that they feel like they have to prove to other people.
And it's because we're so focused on
the image,
the title, focused on a title. What am I, like, what do you title me? Like, am I head custodian? Am I head mechanic? Am I sergeant, lieutenant?
That was like a recent podcast that I watched. Shout out to Joe Rogan, that he was talking about that when you go down into the depths, especially if you're checking out like comments that like you're reading about like your photo or videos that you made and stuff like that, like you understand like you're the same thing like an open world. The same thing like social media, it's open world, so people have that right that they could say whatever the fuck they want because they're behind a screen and shit like that. So they're gonna say whatever the fuck they want. But at the end of the day, just like you said, like you're as selfish as it sounds, you gotta look out for yourself, and then you gotta understand that you're going to bed with yourself and stuff like that, regardless if you have a significant other. But like when you start dabbling into like dude, like what am I doing with my life? And am I a piece of shit? Am I a loser and stuff like that? You can't dabble into that, because when you do dabble into that, it makes you towards that certain point where now you're putting yourself even more down, and you're going down a deeper, darker rabbit hole than where you were previously before, and you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing wrong with you talking to yourself and trying to psych yourself up, and not even psych yourself up, but hey, I should be doing this, I shouldn't be doing that,
establishing a plan.
Yeah, establishing a plan, or not even just establishing a plan, just you trying to get your shit together, and for you to understand that I could be doing this, or I should do that. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a set amount of hours that we have within a day, and yeah, you may work for that X amount of time, but you still have that leeway time, so you might as well get the bang for your day. You know what I'm saying? People, say they're I just don't have the time. Well, do you really not have the time, or are you not willing to put in the time? And it's just
priorities.
Priorities, and being able to understand your capabilities, because again, people like to cut it off short, but if you really dive deep, there's always more in a human being. But people like to cut it so short, and then they like to not dip into those reserves. Like, if you really like go down and deep with it, like you can do more, but it's just you're uncomfortable with doing more because you feel like what you did was adequate enough. When in the harsh reality, it's inadequate because you still feel like you could have did more within that day. And yeah, there's always tomorrow, and not saying to beat yourself up about it, but just know for a fact that like you did that day, so might as well splurge and try to do something the next day. You know what I'm saying? And some people are perfectly comfortable with doing a rinse and repeat, and that's fine too, because that's another thing of keeping yourself distracted, you know? And I'm a person who likes to keep myself distracted and find those outlets. I think a huge benefit is definitely, definitely going to the gym. Definitely, like going to one of your hobbies that you haven't done for a little bit, whether it's drawing, reading, doing a podcast, gaming and stuff like that. A lot of people, they like to, they like to bash on people who are gaming and stuff like that, but it's not like we're lazy. It's not like, we don't give a fuck about the world. It's just we're in a whole different world. We're going to the, virtual world, so that way we could kind of,
get a break from reality.
Yeah, get a break from reality, because like when you put that, controller in your hand and you log on with your boys or whatever like that, it doesn't matter. You could be playing PlayStation, you could be playing Xbox, you could be playing Nintendo. It don't matter what platform you on. It's just a matter of the fact that you're escaping to a world where you're able to kind of like you're not yourself, but you're not yourself, but you are yourself. It's a little confusing, but like you're playing the game to how you want to play it. There's so many different people who have like gameplay as to how they play the game, and then you see how they do it and stuff like that. There's tutorials and stuff like that, but you can extract that information but still play it the way that you want to play it. You know what I'm saying? And same thing like drawing, doing music, working out. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody is different. Everybody operates in different types of ways. It's just about the matter of like keeping yourself distracted and ridding yourself from that that negativity and that stuff to like kind of like dumb you down and like try to bring you down. Because the minute that you stay silent, or the minute that you kind of stay secluded, that's when those thoughts start rummaging inside your head, where it's just like, damn, like, what am I doing with my life? Or like, like, should I be doing this and stuff like that? It's like, no, keep on doing you. Because first of all, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
And secondly, something has to come out from this, and who's to say that like, you can't make something out from what you're doing?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like I said, it all stems down to one, like I said, taking care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of others or people who are important around you. And two, what you said, where you just need to do the thing that works. Don't try and fix it and do something different because someone told you to do something different, or because you've seen people do something different. Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you play video games, you enjoy it. It's what makes you happy and what makes you be able to function better. And you see that you doing that happiness makes you more relaxed, more calmer, less anxious that day or for that week or whatever.
Yeah.
Then maybe you should keep doing it.
Yeah. Like for me, like I know for a fact that like if I don't go to the gym for a certain amount of time, I get depressed. I was able to establish that about myself, so that's why I go to the gym like maybe like 3 or 4 times a week, or maybe like 2 times a week, as long as I'm able to get something within that week that involves like some type of physical activity. then I'm fine. I mean, maybe like once in a random blue moon, I'll go to the pool. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Just to, like stretch out the legs and like, like feel the water and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Because it's a whole different type of workout, you know? Or I may do a home workout, or I may even like, go to the gym, you know what I'm saying? Or I might not
Well,
even go to the gym. I might even just, prop open the book and just read or,
yeah.
draw.
Well, and I mean, and that's a very valid prime example. Is, I mean, like you said, you gotta at least do something physical, where it's like the gym or something, at least
Something that
for the
interacts.
week, within that week, because if you don't, you get depressed. Well, that's kind of like if I was to be like, well, listen, a gym membership is kind of a waste of money. You could be using that to, save for a house, or save for, a car, or paying off your car. Or, hey, you shouldn't have got those books because you could have saved them to get a car, or, to get a house or whatever. I mean, yeah, that's a big example. You should be saving for a future, but you also got to put that money aside for yourself, to kind of like, hey, I got to treat myself, because if you don't treat yourself, you don't do that knack that makes you happy
You
or
kind of start
satisfies you.
neglecting
You start
yourself.
neglecting yourself. You start being, like you said, depressed. And then if you're depressed, guess what? The people you're around are going to start to kind of feel that vibe, the elephant's in the room. I mean, elephant is super hard to avoid.
Yeah.
And then they start to either feel depressed as well, or they stop messaging you, and you're like, why did this person stop messaging me? And it makes you do, like our last podcast, scratch your head.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you're like, oh shit, like I didn't realize, like I stopped doing the things I like, I stopped doing the things I love, I stopped drawing, I stopped reading, I went to the gym a little less, or maybe I went to the gym a lot more abnormally than usual, and I stopped doing this other stuff. And really, I was going to the gym because I was letting out anger, and then I stopped doing those other things because I wanted to make more time to let out that anger at the gym, opposed to doing something that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And, balancing the two between going to the gym and being happy at the same time.
Well, and also keeping that type of like that dopamine type of reward system,
Mm-hmm.
because if you don't have that type of reward system, or if you don't have something to kind of look forward to, life kind of seems like diminished. It
Yeah.
doesn't seem like as fulfilled as it would, prior before, if you don't have anything to, kind of like look forward to. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like, everybody loves a Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Because people, most of the time people got the weekends off, and if you don't, unfortunately, what I'm saying, it is what it is. But like, if you're able to make some type
You're
of
looking
plans,
for that day off.
yeah, what I'm saying, you're looking forward towards that day off. But like, sometimes people are taking that day off to, whether to catch up on sleep or catch up on a couple chores, and then they're able to relax and like take that deep breath in, and unwind and relax. Maybe catching a couple brewskis with the boys, or like you're female and you're gonna go out with the girls, whatever, like that. Regardless what it is, it's very essential to have that type of reward system towards yourself, because if you're just going out in life just like rinse and repeat, and you're not even enjoying what you're doing, then why even do it? Same
Yeah.
thing, like like these MMA fighters and stuff like that. You gotta understand, they're going out in that octagon to put on entertainment for everybody that's around, but also like they're risking their lives, and then they're also they're trying to make money. But most of the time, like, they do enjoy being in that octagon. They love the feeling. They love the whole aspect of the sport. They love like the fitness and stuff like that.
You can't focus on like, oh, I'm in the ring to win a shot at the title and then get that title.
Yeah.
Like, you can't. That's way too big. One, that's way too big of a picture, and two, at the end of the day, that title doesn't matter if you're not a respectable fighter and you're not,
Yeah.
enjoying what you
The
do.
the crazy thing is, though, is that like, if you really think about it, everybody is an artist,
Mhm.
and you could be an artist in every different type of aspect. Like, you could be an artist in video games. Saying like, You could be playing a game with your boy Rainbow Six Sage, and you just did like this like nasty ass kill and stuff like that. No one's ever really done before. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there's no way that's gonna happen again because you're the only one who's done it. Someone might have been able to almost replicate what you did, but they didn't do it exactly how you did. Same thing like people who do music, same way that people like draw something, whatever like that. People can do like a little bit of a copy and paste, but then they add their little, they add their little flavor to it.
And that's the world that we created and originally grew up in, was that everybody's unique and everybody should be unique. We all shouldn't be the same. Everybody's different, and we should accept everybody for being different. And it's gotten to a point where we're focused on the wrong priorities. We're focused on titles, and we need to have multiple titles and have everybody's a goal is to get one of those titles. We need to give everybody a chance to get those titles. And it's like, even it's in, all kinds of sports, movies, this, that. Oh, we need, everybody should get to play the role as, Ariel. Everyone should get to, play, a role in, football, where it's like, oh, we have, this many teams in the top 5, the top 10, the top this, the top that.
Yeah.
You start getting more and more and more, and it's like, because it's all about everybody needs a chance at this title. It's like
the competition is just like it's never ending, and it's in everything. Like, you get the new
who's the best, who's the worst,
who's the best, who's the worst. You get the new iPhone, whatever like that. The next, the person next to you is like, oh yeah, I just got the iPhone 17 Plus Max or whatever like that. But then you have like the iPhone 16, Max, whatever, and it's never ending.
And I feel like that's why in the last podcast we had done about games and good, bad, and was kind of like, it was hard for me to really say like, hey, yeah, this was a bad game. Like, I won't ever play it ever again. Like, there were games where I was like, yeah, I probably wouldn't play it. But if my friends had asked me, like a couple of my friends had asked me, yeah, I'd play it again, because I'm not going to like down a game, and I'll always give a game a second chance.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's always been me, where I'm like, I never completely shut something down. I'm a very optimistic, open-minded person.
Yeah, because like that's how you're able to kind of like see the opportunities, and you're able to see like, different things and different outcomes. Because if you don't take those opportunities, those chances, then you're never going to know. Like, how are you going to know that you're going to be able to do a backflip off of a freaking, like diving board or something like that if you've never done it? How are you going to know that you're going to be able to defeat this guy in fucking Octagon if you don't fight him? The worst case comes to scenario, you get knocked the fuck out. That's the worst case scenario. But you showed up, and then you put out and stuff like that. Like, people may say like, oh, like that fight sucked, like he had his ass handed to him and stuff like that. All right, back to the drawing board. Yeah. You go back to it. There's victories and losses, and people like, are afraid to, like get that slap in the mouth and realize that like, oh man, like I fucked up. It's like I should not even attempted it. It's like, no man, you didn't fuck up, bro. It's just like, you just made one mistake, and that cost you it, but doesn't mean you can't adapt to it. You can't change to it. And that's the one blessing that us human beings have, is that we're very adaptive. If a weather change happens and shit like that, and shit is getting cold, what the fuck are you gonna do? I'm putting on more layers, and I'm gonna be a little bit more, prepped up and ready to go out in that fucking blizzard and do what the fuck I gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Like, exactly. I go on a long ass road trip, and I know for a fact that one of my tires are bad. I better refill that bitch before I go on that long road trip, because, I guarantee I'm going to need to refill that bitch up within 50 miles. You know what I'm saying?
Or at the next gas station or whatever the case.
Exactly, and you don't want to take that opportunity and then you make the same mistake again. So you might as well, prep yourself up. But there, like I said, there's victories and losses. There's victories in all types of losses. Whether you go through a harsh breakup, whatever like that, and it was really traumatic for you and stuff like that. But now Now you learn, what I'm saying? Like, you went through that with that person, so now like, what you're kind of looking out for and stuff like that. It's like, okay, so I'm definitely not going to do that with this person. I'm definitely not going to do X, Y, and Z and stuff like that.
You learn what to accept and what to deny through life. You learn that, and it helps you in relationships. It helps you in just about everything.
Yeah.
Relationships, games,
cooking,
whatever, because you don't learn unless you experience, and in order to experience you have to try, and trying means losing,
failing.
You gotta fail in order to
succeed. Yeah, so. Because there's no other way. I mean, you're just not going to be able to find out. You can't find out something without doing it. There is no way. Like, working out, you know what I'm saying? If you're going to be lifting up like this weight, you've never lifted that weight before, but you know what, you kind of want to try it. You're feeling optimistic, like, I've never benched 350, but I was able to do 225, like, no problem. Let me see if I could do this 350. You did, like, one solid rep, and you're like, oh, okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it was. I definitely felt the weight, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. Then you go back to it and just like, okay, I was able to pull off 2 reps, and it was like, okay, the second rep wasn't the cleanest, but I was still able to re-rack that bitch. And then you go back again, and then, you start getting immune to it, and it's just like, oh, okay, like, now I got you, motherfucker. Now I see what's going on. Now I see why I rely at,
Yeah. You learn a pattern, you get a habit going, and then you're like, okay, like, I can build up to this.
You build up that tolerance, same thing like when you keep on fucking, oh, dude, like, I know you could really, you could speak for this when you fucking keep on failing on a boss in a video game, always, constantly, and you're just, like, so frustrated, you want to fucking break the controller, like you have, yeah, I know. It was like I did. It's just like you got that skim small health, and then that boss just snuffed it out you, and just like, bro, oh my god, I almost fucking had you.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, you adapt and learn, and I learned that, like you said, back when PS2 was a thing, breaking a controller. I mean, you just went and bought another controller, or you buy them offline.
Yeah, because the prices weren't bad. Now you're talking about like a controller like this. It's insane. And then you try to get a third party controller. Like, yeah, you got another controller, but deep down inside, it's not the same. It's just like, yeah, I got a controller, but is it really a controller? Like,
that's why, you probably noticed I've toned it back with my aggression. You might hear me yell or like, yell at TV or whatever.
Oh, dude, it takes so much like restraint when you're like so fucking close, and it's just like, bro, this is like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, so fucking close. And then you rerun it back, and then you kind of recognize the fucking boss or enemy's pattern, and you're just like, okay. It's like, I got you now, motherfucker. I'm like, okay, you were doing this shit fucking before. I got your little pattern. And then once you get that pattern and you were able to figure it out, then you're like, all right, like, now your ass is mine. You did that same little fucking bullshit ass pattern, swing, like, took a pause, swing. All right.
That's like that one on that when you climb up at the end of Remnant, you get up to the top and he flies and he kind of moves around and then he launches these things at you.
Oh yeah.
And we would run
talking about like the second to last boss, yeah.
And it was just like so annoying because we kept getting so close.
And then kept on changing the stage and shit like that. It's just like, dude, it was like, I'm just going to stay propped up right here because I know them lasers are going that way. That laser's going that way. You don't hit in the middle.
Well, and then the one before him.
Oh, yeah.
That you were like, you went up the stairs, and there was this little build, like this.
And it's
little
funny too
square
because
building.
that one was the hardest one out of them all, and
Yeah.
it was just like, yo,
You're not
what
even
the
final
fuck?
boss. You're the boss
And
before.
and you're literally going around the fucking thing and playing fucking like Ring Around the Rosie. It's like, dude, like, oh my god, man.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, definitely, like I said, to bring it back, a bad would be again how to handle my mental health and stuff. Kind of like I said, piggybacking a little bit off of yours, your mental health and relationships, trying to like establish how you should handle it to better yourself and better the outcomes. Um, so, because every bad has, I mean, it's bad because it's painful and it damaged, but you use it to evolve and grow. So, kind of look at it as
You gotta use it as ammunition. You
Yeah.
use it as ammunition, and you just, like you said, you take the good with the bad, and you kind of examine. You do like a self evaluation. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
we're not where we need to be, but we can do better.
Definitely. But yeah, that's about it for that question. I think we could wrap it up.
All right, we will see you guys again soon. That was it for Conversation Convo Combos, and we will see you guys soon. Peace.